Alright, so I'm just gonna start off by saying that I'm gonna be doing everything in my power to entertain you, Mr. Whalen, so yeah. Let's go. Okay, so what you're about to watch is going to be part 1 of 2 of this presentation. This part 1, is going to be obviously the video you're watching, which is going to summarize most of the points, but I feel like I couldn't cover everything because it would take way too long. So part 2 of the presentation is going to be a Google Doc, where I'm going to go into more detail about everything. So yeah, let's jump right into our first order of business. Alright, so what is Biedermann Lexus? So the way I'm going to define Biedermann Lexus is into 3 different parts. So the first one we're talking about is the car wash division. And if you're wondering why I picked Biedermann Lexus, it's because my dad supplies Biedermann Lexus with their soap for the car wash. We go there all the time when my dad checks in on his customers. So instead of explaining what the car wash is, because I'm pretty sure you know what it is, I have a video for you. Let's go.
You know I'm back, like I never left. Another sprint, another step, another day, another breath. Been chasing dreams, but I never slept. I got a new attitude and a lease on life is a piece of my.
Alright, so now the second part of the business. The second part of the business is gonna be the car sales. What the car sales division is, which I'm sure you can guess, is where they sell cars. And the picture you're about to see is the person who actually sold my mom her car.
Si el ritmo te lleva a mover la cabeza, ya empezamos como es. Mi música no discrimina.
Okay, so the third part of the business is gonna be the auto shop division. So like any other auto shop, they bring in cars, they fix what needs to be fixed, and I have a couple pictures of that, so yeah, go.
There's a moment in your bones when the fire takes over. Blood is running, heart is pumping.
What they do there is pretty self-explanatory. They fix up a car, they give them oil changes, fix their brakes, all the regular auto shop repairs that you would expect them to have. Okay, so the next part is going to be the owner. The owner of Biedermann Lexus is, believe it or not, Marty Biedermann. One other name I thought I might mention is Rick Lewis, and he is the pre-owned sales manager. The reason I mentioned him is because when I walked in there, I asked him if I could take some pictures, and he was like all for it. So yeah, he was like really nice to me, so I thought I ought to mention him in there. Okay, so where are they located? They are located at 2000 Waukegan Road, Glenville, Illinois, 60025. So I gave you the exact address, but more like general explanation. They're by Jasper's Cafe. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's pretty good. And also, they're kind of by Burger King, I guess. The reason I know all this is because we live very, very close. The next thing is, do they have multiple locations? Well, there's only one Biedermann Lexus, but there's many Lexus around the world. One example I have of that is that over winter break, we went to Nashville, and they had 3 Lexus dealerships like within a mile of us, so that was kind of interesting. The next thing is that they have been in business for 28 years. Final thing is some recent news. The most recent news article I could find is that they hosted some charity event. That charity event was St. Joseph's 12th Annual Fall Festival. That's the only news I could find anywhere about it. Alright, so you just sat through all of the basic company information. Now we'll go to part 1. Alright, so part 1. This might take a while, but like I said, I'm going to summarize everything, so just get comfortable. Alright, so the first one is going to be identifying the needs and wants. Okay, so Biedermann Lexus isn't exactly fulfilling a human need, but they are filling a need if you have a car. Well, it's kind of like a need and a want. I guess you can call a car wash a want, but I'm pretty sure the majority of cars in Glenview go and get a car wash. So the second one is kind of iffy. The second one, I guess, is technically considered a want. Actually, no. It is a want. It is going to be your car, because the second service they provide is that they sell cars. So since cars are considered a want, I guess they generally fulfill that want by selling cars. Your third want, The third one is going to be more like the first one. It's a need. It's a pretty much need if you have a car, and it's a definite need if like a part in the car breaks down, and that's going to be your auto shop. So the way they fulfill that is that you bring your car in there, they do all the work, and then you come back and get it, and you pay. But their needs and wants are pretty. The next thing is going to be supply and demand. The first thing we must identify is what is the demand. And I'd say as our population keeps growing and keeps advancing, the demand for a car is just going to keep going up and up, especially in Glenview. So I'd say the demand for a car in Glenview is going to be like an upgrade of a car, because you see most people with the car in Glenview. The way I think they supply that is that they're always going to have cars there. There's never going to be a time in Glenview where they're not going to have enough cars. And I'm sure they're smart enough to never have a surplus. So I'm pretty sure the supply is pretty much at equilibrium with the demand. The next thing we're going to be talking about is competition. So one of the reasons there is competition is to give business owners that driving force. So for competitors, there's about 5 other car dealerships in Glenview. And I'd probably call them indirect competitors because they all satisfy the same need, which is obviously a car, but they're all selling, different brands of cars. So yeah, I guess it is indirect competitors because I guess it is like the customer's preference. So the 2 dealerships I'm going to compare and contrast is going to be obviously Breederman, and we'll go with the Hyundai dealership. So I guess you could say the one competitive advantage of Breederman Ford is maybe the luxury. So I guess in my head, I feel like there's some sort of positive stigma for Lexus. This could be wrong, but I feel like it's looked at as a higher brand than Hyundai. The final section of part 1 is going to be your profit, and going along with profits, you have your costs. So some of the fixed costs of Breederman Lexus would be like your rent, your employee wages, your lighting, your machinery, and everything that goes along with that. So on the contrary, variable costs are the costs that are dependent on production output. So your variable costs stay like constant throughout every part of your product that's produced. Some examples of that can be like the actual like raw material needed for your parts, your direct labor costs, which are actually different than your employee salaries, and also you have your utility costs. Okay, so I'm very excited to tell you this next part because I just talked to my dad because he's actually like an expert there, I learned. So you asked what is the key product or service there, and you said to either talk to the business owner or use the internet. But I guarantee you, my dad was the next best thing. So what he told me, got me like really excited because it's actually like really interesting. What my dad said is that, let's say you buy a car for around $50,000. They're actually making it for around $40,000. So your profit margin there is only 10%. So one of the ways that they pull you in is with the car wash. And my dad said that's actually not where they're making like any money. The way they're making money is the services. So just to give you an example, I'm pretty sure it'll prove everything. So on a given Saturday, they will get around 200 tickets just in one day. And the average ticket price for a service is going to be $500. So if you do the math right there, just on one Saturday, they're making $100,000. And guess what the margins are for your services? Unlike that puny 10% on the card, it's 60%. So to answer that question, their key product slash service is their service, which is like the auto shop and the repair. Alright, so it's time for part 2. For part 2, we're going to be going over your product, price, place, and promotion. This one actually is pretty easy to answer for the Breederman dealership. And it's because that the benefits you get with this product is pretty self-explanatory. You get the car wash. And if you didn't know already, if you buy a Lexus, you get the car washes for free forever, or until you stop buying for them. The main way they draw you in is with cheap prices, because like I said earlier, it's not really making all the money, it's in the services, and with their car wash and their obviously great services. Like I talked to one of the people selling cars, and they're all like super nice, which is to be expected. Next one is going to be your price. So what the price says about the product is, when I walked in there, I think it screams luxury. You can just tell you're walking to a really nice place. You have like, just as a little example that I like, you have like your free soda and water and coffee. And you have like really nice people like asking, do you need help with this? So I think when you walk in there, it screams luxury. Okay, so now for the place one, I think they did pretty well for placement. That's because they're placed on a major road, which I believe is Waukegan. This all kind of lead together. It's kind of interesting because like the price and the price one that's screaming luxury, people like see it, maybe they'll stop on by. But like I said, they have a pretty good spot for actual like appearance. And based on, and this is really interesting, based on product placement, you can see the cars. They have like glass windows, so, like you're automatically drawn in. You see it's like a nice car, and you have like cars placed everywhere inside and outside, just rows of. So that really like persuades you to like come on in. Okay, and finally it's promotion. This one is very interesting because there's a lot of different ways they advertise. So obviously we know the brand Lexus, and Breederman is just one of the dealerships. So Lexus has this like huge juggernaut advertiser. That's the person who does all the commercials, and like there's been like Super Bowl commercials before. So that's bringing customers in just to Lexus brand itself. That's pulling people in. But the way Breederman itself sometimes advertises is now it is online more than ever. They want to get, you know, your face in front of them, like on an advertisement on your phone. Also, with Breederman Lexus, another way they advertise is just by word of mouth. They don't have to do anything because people know that's like a nice high-end brand. People want to be part of this. The other couple ways they advertise is that they actually have a good amount of radio advertisements. And the last way they kind of advertise, I guess, is because of their advantages. They have all these services because they're in competition with all the other Lexus dealerships. So they have to have all this high-end service to pull people in. So yeah, that's it, Mr. Wayland. I hope you weren't bored at any point, and I hope I conveyed everything pretty clearly and well. So yeah, thank you for watching.